Now let me just see if I can make this go live on my super amazing YouTube page. Yes.
And I will check. No, I won't actually, because I'm using the internet on that. I'll check on my phone. That's what I'll do. Did you see the abundance of people losing their shit over McDonald's closing?
Oh, McDonald's closed, did it?
Their shit over McDonald's closing.
Oh, McDonald's closed, did it?
Just
Yeah, I am super on top of everything that's going on right now. Yeah, I am super on top of everything that's going on right now. Okay, let's see about the volume now. Okay, let's see about the volume now. Okay, that seems to work.
nothing coming up on my subscriptions just yet.
Let me put it in a little link to you. I think it's working. Hello everybody in the chat. I'm doing an amazing test of my fabulous new little screen setup.
Yay!
Did it work?
Not sure. I can't see anything yet. I keep refreshing my subscriptions. Unless YouTube unsubscribed me.
I think I've just twittered a link to you.
Oh. Looking on both. You misspelt my name, you bastard.
Yeah, well, I'm dyslexic, so fuck yourself.
Okay. Yes.
How many E's have I put in the wrong place?
Worley.
That's the E that's in the wrong place. Alright, let's get rid of that one.
I'm just going to unmute it on my phone. Sorry if there's any feedback. Hold on.
It's the E that's in the wrong place. Alright, let's get rid of that one. Oh, no, I've lost it.
Yeah, actually is pretty good quality. Yeah, that's fine.
What do you reckon of my little video setup there?
Interesting. Yeah, that could work. For one guest, I was thinking of how I might end up scaling up if I ever had more than one on the podcast. I've done well at the minute just to keep it to my screen and somebody else's screen.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, you got a pretty good.
You then have two.
You got a pretty good setup going on for your interviews generally. Mine.
Thanks, man. It has taken a while.
Yeah, I very much enjoyed the earlier ones where the intro would be going on and there'd be you and whoever was on there, sort of just talking in the background, going, "I think this is working." Well, the intro is playing. Can you hear me?
Absolutely. I'm not getting rid of that.
That's the best bit of the show.
It's the only reason people tune in. And the only reason I know that is because everyone tunes out after about a minute. So,
just looking at the analytics. So once they actually started talking, they will stop watching.
right, well, the audio's working
Oh,
as
good.
far as I could tell.
My little video setup seems to be going.
Yeah. There isn't any. Is there a live chat at the minute?
There is, but I think everybody's dropped out of it again for a sec. Because it's just me here faffing around trying to make the doodle work. So, how are you doing?
I'm doing all right. I think this weekend's just been a bit odd for sleep. And then uncertainty with all the stuff that's going on globally.
Yep.
To which I now learned a few hours ago. Hence, I'm up this late. That I won't be working for at least the next week.
I was thinking it's a bit late for you normally.
Yeah, so I'm back on the late night schedule.
Because you're generally sort of like 10 p.m. like, well, that was a good show. Good night, everyone. Oh, what's happened? Have I broke it? I think I broke the Worley. Well, while the Worley is broken, how is everybody in the chat? If you're all still here. Yeah, I just booed him. It's purely for views and drama. So I've kicked him out. Let's see if I can figure out where he's got to. While he's not there, let me be a sneaky boy and pretend he's there like this. If this works. Oh no, there he is.
Let's mute that.
What are you doing over there?
Yeah, I'm not sure
Get back in the right slot.
what was going on there. Oh,
I want to move you. Why are you there? How do I make you go
mate,
back in your?
I'm only here because you asked.
No, not there. There. How do I make you go back in your box? Ah, I've moved it. There we go. All right, now you're back in the box.
Let me out.
I'm still figuring out how to use this fabulous StreamYard Tidy software. So yeah, it moved you to the next square. So I spent ages getting it to capture just that square.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I do in OBS. I just have the two zooms up like this,
Yeah,
and then I just grab that one and then just compress, get rid of the sides.
yeah.
Yeah,
The only problem is you can't
it's
really see what's going on the stream unless you're on the stream page as well. You could just see kind of your face and my little black square.
I'm noticing on the stream as well, my name that you're seeing,
Yeah,
Badger, isn't actually on the live stream because it's completely hidden as to whether we're using
yeah. No, I
StreamYard or Zoom or whatever.
I think well, I did that deliberately because before it was the name was so big that it would obscure most of the person I was trying to make appear. So I've got it to not do
Yeah,
that now, but now it just doesn't say who I'm talking to.
yeah,
So
fair point.
I'm thinking I'm gonna. I think if I'm doing it doing a chat with someone that people might not know who it is, or if it's important to put the name up, I will just do it manually. Yeah, put a little thing with their name under them so that it's not huge.
Yeah, I mean, given that your channel is Bantempered Badger and you are appearing as a badger,
Mm.
I think people would probably work out if you got in the
Yeah,
title,
they probably know
me.
which one's not me.
Yeah,
But if they want to know who it
might be
actually is,
self-explanatory.
then maybe I should put a name there.
Yeah, I forgot what I was
Oh,
saying. Oh yeah, not working for a week, and
Critical
then
Cripple says, "Who's the guy
yeah,
on
it
the
just crashed.
TV?" Well, I'm hoping it's David Worley.
Some
See what I sent the link
has
to.
been.
Yeah. So things are shut down for the time being. Is that where you are?
Yeah, I just needed like some confirmation. I wasn't sure whether I was going to be working in schools with key workers children.
Mhm.
But that I mean that obviously hasn't transpired. So I mean that's fine for me. I'll just steam ahead with
Yeah.
YouTube. Um,
Mhm.
and as such, I don't think I'm not in a particularly desperate situation, so people don't have to give me monies or anything on super chats, which is a nice position to be in. But at the same time, there are quite a lot of people that
Yeah.
do have that uncertainty.
Yep. There
So
certainly are. There's definitely
yeah,
a substantial number of people who are kind of in the shit right now. Uh, so what's happening with the DaveCon? Because I did catch some of your stream
oh
about
yeah,
it the other day, but I think it was with Nervaria where you were talking about it. But I missed a bit about what's happening.
yeah. Before I cut out again,
Yeah, I came in just in time for the drama with the other one.
well, this new drama from a few hours ago. I think. Did you see it?
Was that the email that you got?
Good fucking grief!
Yeah,
Had a heart attack reading that.
I read it, and
Holy
I
shit!
was there looking at your screenshot, just going, okay. Now I think I'm a little out of the loop on the context because I thought that he was like dead or something.
He just dropped off the face of the earth. He hasn't been on Facebook. His Facebook. He hasn't messaged anyone. Yeah, we last found out about those details on the ATI website,
Mhm.
still being in German and still being in um, German phone number, and those details matched Lance's business
Yeah.
sort of public information, and so
Okay.
his information is still physically on the about page, but it says John Richards. So
Mm.
and now Lance is using an ATI email to email me, whether it be by accident or a purposeful email, or he's still got access to info at atheist-convention.com as an
That's
email,
the contact
which doesn't
email
make any
for
sense.
that convention, which he's not supposed to be involved with anymore.
Yeah.
Mm,
So,
marvelous.
yeah, in terms of DaveCon, everything's just on ice while everything's
Yeah.
going to shit. So,
Yeah, it is a little
yeah,
bit that
we
the shop was out
it's
of fucking
it.
Battenberg. I went down. I was like, "What's
Well,
happened? This is a disaster."
I ended up
Somebody's bought all the
trying to
bird
work out.
food. I went. Apparently the local starlings realised there was
It's
a
nuts.
pandemic on, and they just went in like a flock of starlings in a trench coat went in and bought all the fat balls.
God damn.
So
See, I was thinking about maybe just venturing off to the supermarket just to see what it was like, just to see if there was like a bottle of Pepsi or something.
yeah,
And then I was like, I don't want to put myself at risk.
mm,
Like, uh,
yeah, probably not.
you know,
Probably not a bottle of Pepsi, to
yeah,
be fair.
yeah. Sorry. What are we talking about? Yeah.
Dave
Dave,
Console.
DaveCon.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I figured it out. Um, we've got various different um, things that are now going on. It's going to have to be at a new venue because we can't just have exactly the same event but more expensive. The reason we would have to put the price up is because we now have to cover Aaron and Lloyd's travel to the event, which we didn't have to before
Mm,
because Aaron already had a non-refundable ticket, and the whole point of the
yeah.
event was to
So
try
he
and
was already going to be
do something
there anyway.
for him. Yeah, and Lloyd said, "Oh, I'm around that weekend. Let's
Yeah.
do something." So
But it's ended up where
um,
you're going to need, if you want them to be there, you got to get them there now.
yeah, so that means people would end up having to pay like a 45 pound ticket for a 3-hour event, and people aren't going to do that. So we have to therefore add more hours and more value, and we
Mhm.
can't book that venue for that amount of time. Not that that's ideal anyway, because you would ideally have a much larger attendance as well to go with it, because then costs are further spread out. If you double the attendance, you can half the ticket price,
Yeah,
as it were.
and I think
So
it wasn't sort of a sold out thing before all things went to shit, was it?
no, I'm gonna be honest, no.
But
But
you'd managed to get a fair bit of interest, I think. But I think
oh yeah,
people were generally struggling just to get everything together.
and you know what? It's actually turned out pretty well. Having gone public with the whole finances thing and the whole situation, people have put in some good suggestions,
Mhm.
and they where we're now at is that we would have it at the Comedy Store in London for 400. People who already have tickets would end up still going along. Then there's all the increased number of speakers; they all get at least a +1. So about 350 members of the public that may or may not be paying on ticket. The whole event itself, plus insurance, which I haven't worked out yet, would add up to at least 9 grand. And I obviously don't have that sort of money, so we would have to
Mhm.
crowdfund as much of it as we can.
Yep.
About 3 grand is going towards the venue, 4 grand for international speakers,
Mhm.
flights and hotels. So
Have you got costs
as
for them
such,
worked out already?
I've worked it out.
I mean,
Um,
for the international
but
chaps,
it's,
your speakers.
in terms of uh, how much it would cost for their flights, well,
Mhm.
roughly. I mean, I'll put on like a budget for them, as it were.
Yeah.
I know how much the tickets for Aaron and Lilandra's tickets would be
Mhm.
per person, and then they share a room. So between them, that's you're looking at about 2 grand, just over 2 grand, and then uh, same again for Lloyd Evans. We're going to try and get Shannon Q across as well, but she's only in Nova Scotia, so that should be much closer, slightly cheaper, but still, you're still looking at like 600 for a week's worth of
Mm.
uh,
Yeah.
hotel room. Uh, so yeah, it really starts to add up. And I put out I mentioned this in the Nevada stream. I did a survey,
Mhm.
which is still up there. I don't know if I've got any new replies,
You might
but
get one
I was
from
trying
me
to
later on
gauge.
if you send me a link because I forgot to do it at the time.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah, I was kind of drifting in and out
It's
of your Nevada stream because I had some stuff I needed to deal with, and so I came in just in time for the drama with the lads, and then I came in just in time for the bit about international speaker costs. Uh,
yeah, yeah. It's an interesting one. So the the venues themselves always end up charging they'll have something like £72 per person or something like that. To
mhm.
which I would then people just won't pay that, so you have to avoid those venues.
Yeah, probably not.
And then you'll just that will say minimum spend 2.5 grand or something like that.
And they may not.
Um,
People just don't necessarily want to spend a huge amount for a convention that they're not. They haven't been to before. Well, it's a new thing, so of course they haven't been to it before.
sure. Yeah, and so I think the best way to do it,
Mhm.
there's been no new, um, zero new uh, completed responses to the survey.
If you
But
Twitter it to me later on, I'll have a go through it.
yeah, sure.
I'll put it in.
I'll send it over. It's it's thrown up some interesting answers. I mean, people don't seem to quite understand how much things cost.
No, well,
Hence, they're looking at a 3 hour event for 20 quid, and they're going, "Oh, you having a laugh? That's so expensive." It's like,
yeah. Well, I think
I'm sorry.
I think most people tend. I don't think most people organise events with international speakers.
It's just like, what do these people expect? I
I should expect you to do a
honestly,
striptease on stage.
they just expect too much free stuff. They're too used to free stuff, which is annoying.
Well, you're dealing with people who
But,
watch you on YouTube. You
well, yeah, I think there still needs to be something said for having access for everyone, particularly for educational content, which mine isn't really. But
Hmm.
yeah, in terms of trying to get all these costs together, it'll cost about 9 grand. So we'll try and crowdfund as
Mhm.
much as we can, and then the rest will be down to tickets. So if we can get to the situation where um, we have fully crowdfunded
Mhm.
all the costs, it means we can essentially make it the whole conference free,
Yeah.
which then gives me even further creative freedom to then say, hey, let's just do the whole thing live online
Mhm.
because people have paid, and you know, it's
Yeah. If it's
it
already
seems
all
like
financed, you don't have to worry so much about ticket sales.
yeah. So I'd implement a policy of pay what you want
Mhm.
on the door or to PayPal or whatever,
Yeah.
and then that money will be split equally between all the speakers as their, you know, quote unquote wage.
We've got a couple of comments in the chat here. We've got Santi the Sane
Oh hey,
says, "I want free stuff," and Critical Cripple
have it,
says,
have it.
"I should ask you how to get large rodents to the con."
How to get? Wait, what?
I think he means
Um,
me.
ah, yeah. How do we get you there? In a body bag. I
I've been thinking about that myself because if things are more stable for me at the time, then I would quite like to try to come along. But at the time that it was going to be, I am not organized at the moment. I have got a lot of stuff going on and also not going on, if you know what I mean. It's kind of stuff that I would like to be going on
yeah.
isn't, and
Okay.
stuff that is not helping me is. But
Okay.
if by the time it happens I've got more stability, I would kind of like to poke my snoz in.
Hmm. Yeah, it'd be good to see. I think there's a few people who, again, it would be so much easier if people knew that the ticket was free, and we do have a degree of momentum
Hmm.
at the minute,
Oh,
which is being scuppered by COVID, because it'd be a really good time
yep,
right
yep.
now, given
In COVID, sort
Navadi's
out.
interview and just John self-imploding, Lance's email that we just had, and
I've got a few things from the chat again. Santi the Sane says, "I
yeah.
have a question. Are you both British?" To which Critical Cripple replies, "Yes,
So
they are, although they aren't the same sort of British."
we both still apologize in
Yeah,
advance.
sorry about that.
Sorry.
Do we hate the word soccer?
It does great. I was a football coach for a number of years,
Not a
and
hand egg
in fact I
coach.
make a thing about going over to America and how they obviously say cleats and jersey
Hmm.
and soccer and going down to the field. It's just it's like
Yeah, yeah,
nails on a
yeah.
chalkboard. It's just
I'm not even into football, and all the terminology sounds wrong. Oh, there's more than one kind of
yeah.
British, phrased as a question. Yes. You see, what we have here is what, to my local variety, is known as a northern bastard.
More commonly known as a Brexit voter. Um, uh, Hasn't it been nice to not talk about it?
It has actually. It's been quite refreshing to have something other than Brexit be the thing that everyone's shitting on each other about.
Oh God! Like, even if it's just something as simple as Armageddon, oh, so much nicer for for that to be happening.
Well,
Um,
we could still get you to come on for that Brexit chat if you want.
yeah, that has to that that fire has to spark again significantly. I mean, it's almost good timing for Boris because
Yeah, yeah.
things now
Suddenly
can
nobody's
go to
talking
shit.
about it,
Yeah.
and there's a viable excuse for everything going wrong if it does. Oh, I was
Yep.
playing a game. You may have seen me doing the streams. It's like a what's it called? Hold Fast Nations at War. I've been playing. It's like a 15th century looking, where everyone's got muskets and flintlocks and stuff kind of game. So, and it has realistic
Okay.
reload times for those. So you're there like, ha! I've shot. Now I've got to sit here for a minute and reload the thing. But me and a friend of mine were doing a naval battle in that, and I was looking at the names of the people on the ship with us, and there's a guy there just running up and down loading the cannons called Brexit means Brexit, also Corona. I just thought that was
As you do.
wonderful.
Little, yeah. It has somewhat died down.
Doorknob Head says Brexit because you can only wipe so many times with the same side of the same piece of toilet paper.
What's sorry? What is toilet paper?
I
I've forgotten.
don't know. I haven't seen any for months. Actually, I'm reasonably well stocked for toilet paper actually because I was bulk buying before it was stupid. So,
Yeah.
but if I do run out, then I have a bucket and a sponge, like the Romans before us.
Thank you for that.
I may have been on whiskey for a little while now.
As long as badgers aren't allergic.
Apparently not. I should probably need to nip down the shop and get some more at some point soon. That's right.
Is alcohol
It's medicinal.
there?
Sometimes it's medicinal. I'm disinfecting my throat.
From all the sputum that's been launched from it since 23rd of June 2016.
Oh, Dave asks, "How's the milk hunt going?" Fucking shit, mate. They were out of the big ones, so I had to have the little ones. And I did manage to get some UHT though, but still no powdered milk. I want to make some bread. I can't make some bread because I've got no powdered milk.
Interesting. We did we end up having for our breakfast clubs that we do.
Brexit clubs.
We end up having breakfast. We have quite a large number of kids that are coming along to that, or
Oh
were
yeah.
at least.
Is that the school related
And
stuff?
yeah, but
Okay,
obviously
yeah, I'm with you.
it's all closed and
Yeah.
so yeah, we end up having, at least from the start of the year, we've had this like big 12-pack of UHT milk, long lasting, whatever it is. So we seem to have left quite a lot of food in all of our schools. We would
Mm,
normally on the Friday put in a shop, and by the Monday it'd be delivered
mhm.
for the week for after school clubs and that sort of thing. Um, so yeah, I suspect there's going to be a little bit of food that's going to have gone off by the time we come back because we weren't told to clear out
Ah,
the fridges.
so
I
it
mean,
kind of
we
went.
did. Don't
All right, see you tomorrow.
don't get me wrong.
Okay, don't come in, but we're
Yeah,
not getting rid of the food.
don't get me wrong. The coaches ransacked the fridges anyway. Don't
Hmm.
tell anyone. But
It's all right. There's only
it's
there's only
only like
three people in the
bit
chat. We're
cheese.
fine.
Yeah, it was all stuff that was going to go off or go hard or whatever. All the breadsticks are still in there.
Oh dear.
But
You'll probably be able to stab someone with them by the time you go back.
by the time we go back, civilization will end first.
We can
We'll have
hope.
to the Great Purge of 2020 will be sitting in our rocking chairs or on our jetpacks or whatever we'll have by
Are
the
you
year
you in agreement?
2400.
Yeah. Are you in agreement with the peoples that we should all tell our children, assuming that we have any, that we survived a zombie apocalypse in 2020?
Hell yeah. This is what happened. We could just cut this bit so then they can have videographic evidence and just say, yeah, zombies, zombies and shit. I remember cutting my shotgun off at the front,
Hmm.
having a sawn off, and just, yeah, that moment when
I have
we were
plenty
stuck
of
in.
swords, so I'm
It's been cleaned since. You just have to cut like very, very deliberate sort of cuts, and this is where
It's like making
you know
salami.
this is the scar I got at uh oh, the Musty Baron, and Musty Baron is a pub that where we hunkered down.
Um,
There was only the three of us. By the end of the night, I was the only one that survived. There's my
oh
this cut across here, down across my arm. It was
dear.
where the finger of the zombies. I tried to escape
Yeah.
valiantly.
Dave says bread doesn't have milk in it, to which I say you don't have milk in you.
That is technically true.
Alright, so what else was I going to ask you next time I speak to you? So, how are you, how's the panic buying where you are?
You know what? I wouldn't know. I've hunkered down.
Hmm.
So the only thing I've actually done is ended up going between here and schools.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's been a bit of um a bubble for me, but yeah, I'm not entirely sure exactly because I can come into contact with various different um parents that are obviously picking up their kids and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll come up with stories about like what's going on
Oh,
and how they can't get hand sanitizer, and the school couldn't get any hand sanitizer
yeah. Mm.
for like when people are walking in.
The only place around
They normally
here,
have one stuck to the wall. So
that had hand sanitizer was the vape shop, and he was selling it for £4 a bottle. These are not big bottles.
wow,
I'm hoping that
yeah,
that bottle of isopropyl alcohol that I ordered will eventually arrive, like before the end of this apocalypse.
yeah. My because my dad's this is just the worst household to be in because I work in schools and my dad works at Heathrow.
Oh, great!
So
Good for you.
he he always eventually every now and again would come home with various different things. He had came home with hand sanitizer
Mhm.
earlier. Very occasionally, I'll come back to a fridge that's stocked with Coca-Cola or Mars bars or something.
You keep Mars bars in the fridge.
Not me. It wasn't me.
Oh yeah.
Well, they'll be on the side. I don't understand people who do that, keeping chocolate in the fridge. Oh,
Yeah.
just
I don't quite get
melt
it.
it.
I have some cream eggs though, so they're not in the fridge. Right, let me just.
Yeah, sometimes it's wise just to, because that's a very thin chocolate as well that can melt very easily.
Yeah. Well,
Hmm.
it's not really hot enough for
Yeah.
that to be an issue yet.
No, no. Play it by ear. If it's kept its structural integrity, then yeah.
So, what's your bottle full of there, Chad?
Ribena.
Ribena,
I've been going back and
outstanding.
forth because for some reason sometimes if I'm doing like a whole day in a school, people will look at that and think that's Coca-Cola,
Yeah.
and it's like no.
So when I used to work as a lifeguard, chap filled up he brought in a hip flask, just filled it up from the slush puppy machine. He just sat on the chair, sipping away at this hip flask, and he started to just sag more and more in the chair as the shift went on. He was just sipping from this hip flask of slush puppy, just going ah yeah. They told him not to after that.
uh, yeah, I used to have a hip flask because I know I say this often enough. I don't drink, but I did have a hip flask because I was a hipster,
Oh yeah,
and
I've got quite a few hip
that
flasks kicking around the
naturally,
burrow actually.
yeah. I definitely had a stopwatch, like a not stopwatch, pocket watch
Mm.
at some point, and I guess I've lost it. Um, yeah, not that I need one, but
Doorknob Head wants to know: does anyone else keep their pants in the freezer? No. Shoes in the great tradition of Dave Lister.
what a show! What a great show! Unbelievable
Oh,
show!
what's
God
my
damn! At one point, I think might have been iPlayer. I'm going to check that actually. Sorry if my internet messes up while I check. It definitely
choices
was
are?
available on something. Have the BBC done a Christmas
Have
and
they
just put everything
done a Christmas?
on
I
iPlayer?
don't know. I was listening to one of the radio diddlies on there earlier. Oh, I missed any questions this week. No, I normally argue with people on Twitter about it. Uh,
I hope the test's going well.
which one?
For the what are you actually using? OBS.
Oh, this. Yeah, yeah, it is going well. It seems to be working quite well. Yeah, it's OBS. I have a setup to using Dave's, that's Critical Cripple Dave's StreamYard Tidy program to grab so we're talking in StreamYards, and I'm grabbing your face from StreamYards, bringing it into OBS, and then using OBS to broadcast it to the internet.
Hmm.
Because I tried doing this with a I was having a chat with Director Arcater a while ago. I tried to do an experimental chat stream where I had a chroma key set up to get rid of a bit of a thing, and then I had like a
Hmm.
Discord chat, or it may have been Google Hangouts at the time, that I tried to get video capture from, and it didn't work. It was laggy as all balls, and it did not work at all. So I ended up just using standard whatever it was. It was either Google Hangouts or StreamYards. I can't remember which one because I can't remember exactly how long ago it was. But this works much better. So I think for chats with a single person, I will use a setup like this for future reference.
Yeah, nice. It seems like it works. I've only just realised as well, because I leave my Sonos on
Mm-hmm.
pretty much all day. I completely forget that there's chill step going on in the background. Um, is that being picked up at all on
I could
stream?
hear a little bit of it earlier, but I can't really hear it.
All right, I was gonna say because it will just sort of just flow for hours,
I do
like
like a bit of
literal
chill step
hours.
actually. I tend to I put on if I'm trying to get stuff done. I tend to put on synthwave mixes.
Okay.
There's quite a few of them on the YouTube.
Yeah, I like Arctic Empire.
And if you've seen
Um,
my video outro for when I occasionally do scripted videos, which I haven't done for ages, but the video outro for them is a synthwave version of "We Are Number One."
okay. Yeah. Yeah, it's really good just to find those sort of melodic dubstep kind of
Mm-hmm.
hour long, 2 hour mixes. Just
It was a
yeah,
12-hour mix of the
good.
Heavy's Pizza song.
God. Oh, you know what I listened to the other day?
Oh
I
yeah.
went on to a 10 hour leak spin mix.
Oh, that's wonderful.
God damn.
Did you get to the
We went
end?
No, I got to about 20 minutes in. I thought, fuck this. No, I
See,
can't.
I've got to the end of
Can't
one of
fucking-
those before because I put it on. I'm right. This is not sort of official, but I'm pretty sure I'm a little autistic. I have got sort of confirmed other things that are linked to it, but I haven't actually been specifically assessed for that. But I could put on the like a 12-hour leak spin video and leave it there while I do stuff and get to the end of it and not notice. I'd
Huh.
notice when it finished. I'd probably notice like 10 minutes after it finished and go, why is there no leak spin playing? Oh, I finished it. You know?
Yeah, chill step's much the same. It just goes on and on. It's just like
Yep.
very gentle kind of yeah. Yeah, it's good. It's good. It's I wouldn't say it's like particularly calming. It obviously is, but it's like
Mm,
it's just like background noise. It's almost like an old person leaving the TV on.
yeah. I've never got that because I don't know exactly what it is, but if the TV is on, my eye is automatically drawn to it, and I find it very difficult to concentrate on anything else.
Yeah, I especially when I'm trying to work on something here, and I've ended up something is on iPad. Like
Mm.
past couple of days, I've just gone through Kurzgesagt videos and tries to like learn about stellar engines and how you can harvest it's like the sun with like a
Mm.
Dyson sphere and trying to like, move the solar system along. It's like fuck,
You should listen.
why am I watching this?
You should watch some Isaac Arthur videos.
I'm not sure if I've heard of them.
I will
Does that ring
uh,
a bell?
go on the
I sent you
YouTubes.
the link to the survey.
Yeah, do it.
Yeah,
Do that. Or did you say you will do that, or you have done
have
that?
yeah,
Excellent.
it's on
Right, I
Twitter
will
now.
try to remember to do that in a minute. But if you go on the YouTubes later on, put in Isaac Arthur. He's a sort of a sciencey chap, science and futurism. He talks about all kinds of space travel and stuff like that, and like Fermi paradox and related concepts. He's a very
Yeah.
interesting chap, and he has a very distinctive voice because he has kind of like a Southern American accent, but also the kind of wascally wabbit speech impediment. I've
Okay.
never found that that is an issue in understanding him, but it gives him a very distinctive voice that I actually find really soothing.
Hmm.
and he'll be there talking about all kinds of very interesting topics, but in his very particular voice. And I'm there going, yes, thank you, Isaac Arthur. Keep talking. Tell me more about the Fermi paradox.
Yeah, recommended channels, Kersh Gazette, straight away. Yeah, on his page. Yeah, okay.
There was something else I was going to bring up, but what was it? Oh, I saw a
I don't know.
hedgehog in the garden earlier. This is big
Fascinating.
news
Okay.
because hedgehogs are becoming less and less common these days. So there is a hedgehog in the
Oh,
garden, and I'm very pleased about this. I've put the nature cam out to hopefully catch him eating the birdseed.
do badgers and hedgehogs normally get along?
No, uh, badgers
An
eat.
unlikely alliance.
Badgers are one of the few creatures that will successfully eat hedgehogs.
Okay. It's a bit like humans showing sympathy for chickens.
Mm.
Just, just yeah.
Well, you see,
Bizarre.
most creatures won't bother with hedgehogs because they're spiny and awkward to eat. But for badgers, that's just spice. See, we've got the jaws for it.
I guess so. Yeah. What was I hearing about foxes the other day? Can't remember.
I should
I'm really
I should
digging this
catch up
vibe
with
on
it.
the chill step right now.
That's good.
Sorry.
I should catch up with the chat. Let's see what we got here. If you
Chilling.
don't eat your meat, you can't have any pudding. How can you have any pudding if you don't eat your meat? I think that was in reference to all the food still being left in the place. Ew sounds like something a priest would say. I'm not sure what that's about. Not now, Satan. Critical Cribble says Isaac Arthur is awesome. I agree. Tornopper says I have not been clinically diagnosed with Jerusalem syndrome, Stendhal syndrome, Frigoli delusion, clinical lycanthropy, factitious disorder, but there's always hope. I think that's a reference to my autism related comment earlier. In response to that one, I have not been officially diagnosed with it. However, I do have several learning difficulties that are commonly linked with autism. I've lost the right window. There it is. What was I going to ask you? It was not hedgehog related, but that's now in my head. Hedgehogs, what do you make of them? This is how I do streams when I'm sort of halfway through a bottle of whiskey.
That's quite all right. I think they're all right. Haven't caused me any problems. Give me nasty nip or anything. Bit spiky, but
Yeah, spiky boys.
yeah. Don't often see them
No,
scurrying around.
less likely to see them these days because they may end up in danger at this rate.
Because badgers are bastards.
It's not even us. It's you lot with the habitats. That's the problem.
I get, yeah.
I'm blaming you
probably is.
humans. We just eat them. We've been doing that for centuries, millennia, in fact.
Running them over. Yeah, I suspect you're right.
I blame humans and cats.
Cats?
Not cats specifically for hedgehogs, because cats generally don't bother with hedgehogs, but cats for a lot of other things like bird populations.
Huh.
There's too many cats.
Yeah.
There's outdoor cats are a bit of an issue.
I mean, come to think of it, how can a ground-based animal be so dominant over a flying one? Like,
Right. Let me just get some of the stuff I did for my cat video in my brain. A cat doesn't actually. Well, there are ground nesting birds that are particularly vulnerable to cats. Uh, there are also ground feeding birds that are quite vulnerable to cats. They will, you see the birds that go down and eat the birdseed on the ground, and they will eat, snails and slugs and things like that. They're quite vulnerable to predation by cats. Also, migratory birds, even if a cat has a bell or something like that, because the birds migrate, they don't innately associate that sound with danger, so that doesn't necessarily prevent a cat from successfully hunting them. For locally nesting birds, a lot of local cats are a problem because they're very distracting. Parent birds, when they're trying to raise their young, will focus their attention on doing warning calls and trying to get this cat to go away rather than looking for food for their young, which also leaves the young vulnerable to other predators like hawks and such, because the parents are so focused on there's a cat nearby. So it's not just direct hunting of birds by cats. It's also the indirect effects of there just being so many cats around.
yeah, I wouldn't know, but okay.
Yeah, no, I did a video on this a while ago, so I read all the studies on it. There was one study I read was a study not on cats themselves, but on cat owners. Which the conclusion of the study was that even in the case of a cat owner being presented with all the data and evidence of their specific cat going out and hunting endangered species, they would be quite unlikely to admit that their cat could potentially be a problem.
Oh yeah, I can imagine that.
And Critical Gribble says hedgehogs are the only animal my Jack Russells have given up on. They're not into the old spiky boys?
Absolutely no idea.
Alright, moving on to another topic. Have you got any interesting guests coming up on your channel in the near future?
Oh no, I do actually. Can I tell you that? Yeah, Aaron Ra was always meant to be on like the week before the
Mm-hmm.
original DaveCon, um, and then he seemed to forget, and then I reminded him. So he'll be on 28th. When is it now? 23rd. Oh right, so it's not too far away.
So that's in.
It's Monday. So yeah, this Saturday.
Oh, nice.
And then okay, yeah, next Monday is Pelagia.
Mm-hmm.
We finally got around to that.
I shall try and tune in for those if I can.
Yeah.
Aaron Ra's one of my
Oh,
favourites because I'm very much into. Oh dear, there goes my BP thing. I'm very much into particularly his whole series of videos of how everything disproves Noah's flood.
he's reading. Yeah, he's reading the Quran at the minute.
Oh yeah, I saw one of his things on that.
Hmm.
I was going through. I might do it as videos from a channel. Actually, I was going through a book called "The Politically Incorrect Guide to Islam." I think it was,
Hmm.
and I was going through that book and going through the Quran as well, and I cross-referencing all the various things mentioned in that book with the actual book itself. Going, oh yeah, it does say that. And it does in fact say that as well. Going, yeah.
Hmm.
I got this. I got this
Interesting.
Quran free actually from a chap with a table in the street, giving out Qurans and pamphlets and leaflets of various Islam-related media, which I have quite a lot of on my shelf here because I kind of took one of each one from his table because I would like to at some point talk about them. But he was really pleased that I was so interested in his table of goods. I don't think he would have been quite so pleased if he knew what I was planning to do with them, which is read them and then provide counter material to them on my YouTube.
Well, if you can't spread the word yourself, you get other people to spread it for you.
Precisely. But I have now actually gone through the entire book, and my main comment is it's really repetitive.
I suspect that every sentence and every passage ends with like Allah Akbar, God Almighty, praise Him or something.
There's that sort of thing, but it's not just that. Each kind of passage, well, not each passage, but there's a lot of repetition of very similar events and themes, and there is that, praise be kind of thing, but in the Islamic phrasing. But it's everything is kind of each story ends the same. Each story is, and then Allah made it work, kind of thing.
Sure. It's I mean, I got as far as what was it, the sixth chapter of Genesis in the Bible, and then I was like, no, I really can't be asked to spend my time doing that.
Well,
It's just
was it you that was trying to do a video series on it? Did I see that? No,
nope.
no, that was for someone else.
Yeah.
I thought about doing a video series where I read the Bible, and I thought, why? Not everyone,
Not
but
worth
there's a
it.
lot of people who have done much better video series on reading the Bible.
Yeah. Yeah, I just don't have the time or the patience. I just I'm just not interested in it.
Mhm.
It's just so boring.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Like begat.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Okay, here's the thing. Have you read Lord of the Rings?
No.
Because I've read The Hobbit, and The Hobbit is a really enjoyable read. I like reading books. I've tried to read Lord of the Rings, and I was like 5 chapters in, and they still hadn't got to Bilbo's birthday. And I was there just trying to read this, going, "Oh, Jesus Christ, when's ah?" But I listened to the audiobook instead. That was much better.
Yeah,
So that's what
you
I
know
ended
what
up.
for
Sorry, that's what I ended up doing with the Quran as well. Is rather than actually reading it in text form, I listened to it as an audiobook. But I had the text form there to refer to.
for a podcaster, I actually am not that big a fan of listening to podcasts. I watching something.
Yeah. Are you telling me you haven't listened to my story readings?
I there was one I've forgotten. What was the first one you did?
First one I did. What was the first one I did? Let's have a look.
It was like some historic event at some
I think it
manor
would have
place,
been
or
the SCP Foundation ones. Would have been the story readings I did. Let me just go back and see what the first story reading I did on my channel was. I'm planning to do some more, but I need one. I need some extra voices for one that I'm doing or planning to do. I think the first story reading video I did was the Woodvale incident, which is from the SCP
that one.
Foundation.
Yeah. Remind me what that was about.
It's It's set in this right. You know the SCP Foundation. Do you know vaguely what it's about?
I can't remember.
Okay, the SCP is Secure, Contain, Protect. It's a secret organization that secures and contains and protects people from anomalous artifacts and entities. This could be supernatural things, it could be things from other worlds, all sorts of stuff. Within that setting, there
Okay.
are several different canons, as in there are several different alternate universe versions of that setting. There is one which the Woodvale incident takes place in, which is part of an alternate Cold War setting, where the SCP Foundation is an international organization, so it exists across the world, starts being pressured by the US government during the Cold War to provide them with anomalous artifacts for use in warfare against the Soviet Union.
Okay.
And in order to tell the representative of the US government that they're not going to provide them with these things, they provide a demonstration in a town called Woodvale of the kind of things that they are containing and why they can't be used as weapons.
Interesting. Okay.
Basically, the Woodvale incident is he brings the ambassador. I can't remember the guy's title. It might be the Secretary of Defense or something like that. He brings the guy to Woodvale or to a woodland area overlooking Woodvale. Then talks into his walkie-talkie and says, "Right, turn off all the containment procedures." At which point, the entire town of Woodvale is immediately engulfed in an anomalous event, and everyone in it becomes deceased. The entire town disappears.
Hmm.
And it ends with, and that's why we won't be giving you any stuff.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun reading that story.
Hmm. I bet there's a spider that's just been crawling up this table. I saw it yesterday. It just put me off.
Oh, excellent! I do like the spiders. I'm
Aren't they great?
yeah, they're good lads.
Oh, I think I'm getting tired. I'm gonna have to head off.
Yeah, I
So
should probably do that as well in a little while. Right. While I've got you here, so at the moment, uh, am I? Is there a re-planned date for DaveCon?
well, yeah. At the minute, 19th of September.
Yeah, I imagine things are
I
kind of up
I
in the
do
air depending on
strongly,
what happens.
yeah, I strongly suspect that that's going to be pushed back.
Hmm.
Um, and if it is pushed back, it means that we potentially could, with even more funding, crowdfunding, get Navadia down
Ooh,
or up, as it were,
that'd be interesting.
which would be good. But that obviously takes a lot because she's on the other side of the planet.
Hmm.
So
I should try and get Not Your
yeah,
Witness, but it'd be really weird seeing a cartoon sort of figure wandering around.
yeah. I just I mean, he's great and everything, but I just find his content just so two-dimensional.
Ah!
I'm sorry. I'll be leaving.
I'm still hoping that I've got another collaboration with both Notja and Navadia planned. We've got half a script done. Well, actually, we've got most of a script done, but it's just been trying to get the time to get it all together. And of course, they've been quite busy, and I've been all over the place trying to get life sorted out. So we haven't got it finished yet, but it is still in the works.
Awesome. Yeah.
And
I don't get the time to check out other people's content as much.
yeah, no, well, particularly with the trying to sort out all the DaveCon stuff, I imagine you wouldn't.
Yeah.
Uh,
I mean, I've had what, like 3 podcasts this month. Like, I've done
well,
nothing.
you're
So
getting a lot of interesting people on your channel lately. Who was before Navadia? Who was the last one you had on?
Faye the Most Gracious.
Oh
and then
yeah.
before that, Lloyd Evans, and then before that, I can't remember
Right now, I'm a little bit. I'm.
because that was
Let's try that again. I'm quite deep into a bottle of whiskey right now. So remind me the name of the
yeah,
guy who does Talk Heathen.
Eric Murphy.
Eric Murphy, that's his name. Uh, he's been on quite a few. I was really surprised at the amount of smaller YouTube channels he's appeared on recently.
Ah, has he? Yeah, I wouldn't. No, I haven't kept track.
Well, smaller but up and coming generally. Like he was on. Do you know the Daily Atheist channel?
Oh yeah,
Uh,
that's the one I saw. Yeah,
Daily Atheist channel. He's been his channel's been really kind of taken off lately. It's in the last month or so he's really started to pick up momentum with the channel, which is quite excellent because I think it's an excellent channel. And
yeah.
then Eric Murphy was on it, and apparently there was quite a big influx of subscribers. Words. There's quite a big influx of subscribers from that specific interview. He's had other quite big names on, but not had the influx of subscribers that he had from Eric Murphy.
It is a bit odd when sometimes when certain guests will provide that. Um, Dragnaut did that for
Mm.
me as well. It's just a completely new audience. Um, but yeah, it's uh, it's interesting. We've got a ton of views. The person before that was Ali Malik, um, from Pack Atheists, uh, who I'd uh, actually met in person for Zarke's birthday,
Hmm.
and yeah, it was actually the Daily Chris that I had on before that as well, and Jen Aldrich and GM Skeptic, Andrew Seidel, Seth Andrews.
Hmm.
Oh, Grey Skeptic. Sorry, I just missed him out.
Yeah, you've had quite a lot of interesting people come on recently.
Mm. Yeah,
I
definitely.
quite enjoyed
Um,
your R and R chat.
we yeah, we'll get him on this Saturday. I still I I try and leave it till the last minute to actually work out what we're going to talk about. There's no point in planning it ahead.
I try to plan ahead. If I'm having somebody come on for chat, I try to have, depending on who it is and what they're coming on for, I try to have either sort of a topic or a series of questions that I want to ask them so that I have something to start with to get the conversation flowing, and then I just let it go to wherever it goes after that.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I think you've been doing.
Did you manage to remember what you were meant to try and ask me?
No. Oh, it'll probably appear in my brain tomorrow. I'll wake up in the morning. Oh, that's what I was going to
DM
ask
me.
it.
Yeah.
um, while I've got you here, for um, for the next incarnation of DaveCon, when when eventually the whole COVID business is more under control and things get sorted out and everything, it how long an event are you planning to have? Because it was going to be, if I'm remembering this
Mm.
correctly, it was going to be kind of a, was it a 1 day thing originally? Uh, not like a, it wasn't going to be an entire day. It was going to be a set space of time during a day where everybody was there. Was that right?
Yeah. So initially we were going to do a 3 hour evening, and then that had to include like, some setup time and stuff like that. So it still cost a little bit to actually um, sort of either side
Mm-hmm.
of the event kind of thing. And then this one should be more like 6.5 hours with possibly I haven't quite worked out how much time I need to set up,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, it's it's now significantly better in that respect, because then, especially at a place like Comedy Store, you don't necessarily need a huge turnover of, just if you need to go for a drink at the bar, just go, and then the show just keeps carrying on,
Hmm.
just goes, rather than, okay, now we're in the lecture hall and
Is
now
it
we
a
have to go to a
place where
separate
you can
place
see
to,
the
yeah.
event from the bar kind of place?
I think so, yeah,
Okay.
given the nature of the venue, the Comedy Store.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it kind of a comedy club kind of place?
Yeah, actually, can I, uh, if I share screen, that's going to mess everything up, isn't it?
Yes. But I can make
Let's
it
test
work.
that.
I can make it, or
Yeah.
can I? Let me see what I can do. Oh.
I don't know why that says incorrect email password for it. It's clearly correct.
What can I do about this? Send me a link in the behind the scenes chat, and then I can make it
Okay. Oh, punching the mic. Hold on.
happen.
Let's get this out of the way.
Don't punch my. By the way,
Yes.
hang on, I'm trying to find the comment. There it is. Doorknob says, "Go to bed, you git." So yes, we shall probably do that in a little while, but I'm just going to try to let me see if I can figure out on the fly a way to make the thing do a screen share. On the fly
Have a
and
look
drunk,
for,
I should add. And still getting
trying
more
to look
drunk
for
as we speak.
good pictures of what I'm actually looking at here. So, I mean, you can just Google Comedy Store London
Comedy
and then
Store
go into
London, right? Let
images.
me have a look. Comedy Store London. I always end up typing Knob Knoll. Is it the Comedy Store? Is that the name of the thing?
Yeah, it'll be called the Comedy Store. But then just go to images, and you'll see it. It's all just red
Alright,
seating.
let me see if I can make this happen. So if I go to that, and then to that, can anyone in the stream, can you see the stream chat at the moment, the live chat?
And let me go back into it.
Can you or someone there confirm that I am currently looking at images of the Comedy Store?
Yeah, yeah, it's got the whole screen up.
Excellent. This is going well. I know how to computer.
Excellent.
Okay, so we've got
Yeah, you get the
that's a
general
Facebook
gist.
page. Okay, so it's kind of around the. You've got like a stage set up, and you also seem to have a bar set up.
Yeah, let's actually have a look. That looks like a completely different. That's Comedy Store Manchester you were looking at.
Oh balls! I put London. Why is it not London?
I don't know, but London's just a flat, sort of very
Is it the one
low
with the
incline.
lips?
Yeah,
Is this the one? Oh shit! What have I done? There we go. Is this the one?
Potentially, I can't see it on stream just yet. Also, if you go to tag venue, and then you try and find the Comedy Store in London, you'll get all the photos and images up.
Well, hopefully I've got a picture up here that is the correct
Oh yeah,
thing. That's the one,
I mean,
isn't it?
that is the right
With
one,
the lips.
but it's facing the stage, yeah.
Yeah.
So
let me see
if you look
I
at other
can...
photos of that exact same venue, you'll end up seeing there's like a very large seating area, and then there's bits around the outside.
How about this one? Is this the right one?
Standing around areas.
I don't think that's the right one. It's got a big upper gallery. Looks like a theatre.
It looks more like Manchester, yeah.
Yeah. We get the point anyway. It's supposed to have a bar. So this might work. Let's try that. Here's some people at the bar at the comedy thing.
Don't know, maybe.
That might be the right one. But so you reckon there's
Yeah.
a kind of a flat seating area and a bar set up, and it should be more conducive to the kind of event that you wanted to run.
What I'll do, hold on.
There we go. Hopefully we should be back to
that link. And then sweep through those photos. Particularly when you get onto that third of the 3 photos.
Doorknobhead says, "Is it the one with the lips? Something a future sentient AI sex robot might be heard to say." Yep, it's the one with the lips. Alright, well, I think that'll probably do us for the evening.
We are tired, man.
Let's see if there's anything else in the chat. Yeah, so thanks very much for coming on and testing that this thing works.
No worries.
It does in fact work, so I can use it to make things happen. Which means that for future reference, I can set up some additional doodly-doos and make a screen sharing setup as well. Oh, I've just thought of how that'll work. I can use the transparent background with the screen as a border to cut out all the desktop stuff. Yeah, this will work. This will be good. I'm mumbling to myself about bullshit now.
Yup.
Right, well, thank you very much for coming, people who came to say hello for this random drunk test stream of stuff. And thank you very much for coming, Dave, and making sure that everything works. And thanks to everyone in the chat, Dave and Doorknobhead and somebody else. Who was it? Where is he? Santi the Sane? No, Santi the Same. Whatever. I can't read. I'm drunk. Yeah. Thank you very much for coming, Mr. Worley. And yeah, that'll do us, I think.
Awesome.
Right. So I'll shut the thing down.